A very important concept corresponding to solutions is colligative properties. So what is a colligative property? Property of a dilute solution which is directly proportional to number of solute particles present in the solution. It's the property of a dilute solution which is directly proportional to number of solute particles present in the solution. So there are four important colligative properties. First one is relative lowering of vapor pressure, RLVP. We are already discussed about this. Second one is elevation of boiling point, delta TB. Third one is depression of freezing point, delta TF. Fourth one is osmotic pressure, pi. So these four are called colligative properties. Let us consider vapor pressure. Let us consider vapor pressure. When pure solvent is taken in a container, when pure solvent water is taken in a container, only on the surface solvent molecules are present, all are vaporizable. Therefore automatically maximum number of particles are converted into vapor phase. If in the same capacity container I take the same solvent, but a non-volatile solute is added to it. Due to that reason, the surface is occupied by both solute and solvent particles. Remember that only solvent particles are vaporizable, but solute particles are non-vaporizable in nature. Hence, very few number of molecules are converted into vapor phase. Therefore, vapor pressure of this pure solvent indicated by P0 and vapor pressure of this solution, this is called solution, indicated by P1 for example, or sometimes it is indicated by P. So vapor pressure of pure solvent is always more than vapor pressure of the solution. Therefore, vapor pressure also depends upon number of solute particles. It also depends upon number of solute particles. Vapor pressure also depends upon number of solute particles, but it is not a colligative property. Vapor pressure is not a colligative property. It depends upon number of solute particles, but it is not a colligative property. Therefore, what is colligative property? The property of a dilute solution which is directly proportional to number of solute particles. Boiling point, freezing point, vapor pressure, all these properties depends upon number of solute particles, but they are not directly proportional to number of solute particles. That means relative lowering of vapor pressure, elevation of boiling point, depression of freezing point and osmotic pressure are directly proportional to number of solute particles. When number of solute particles double, these properties are also becomes double. When number of solute particles become half, these properties are also becomes half. But vapor pressure, boiling point, freezing point, etc. properties are not changed in such a way. They depends upon number of solute particles, but they are not changed in directly proportionality ratio. Hence, they are not colligative properties, and only these are called as colligative properties. We have already discussed about relative lowering of vapor pressure in the previous class. So, therefore, I am starting this concept with elevation of boiling point. Elevation of boiling point, delta T. So, according to our discussion, this is a pure solvent. All solvent particles are vaporizable. So, therefore, more number of molecules are present in vapor phase. This is a solution containing non-volatile solute. Only solvent particles are vaporizable. Therefore, lesser number of molecules are present in vapor phase. Therefore, vapor pressure of this pure solvent is more than vapor pressure of this solution containing non-volatile solute. So, when boiling point is considered, boiling point is equal to the temperature at which vapor pressure exhibited by this liquid becomes equal to atmospheric pressure. And here also boiling point is equal to the temperature at which vapor pressure exhibited by this liquid becomes equal to atmospheric pressure. Becomes equal to atmospheric pressure is called as boiling point. Automatically, as vapor pressure of this liquid is more, its boiling point will be less. As vapor pressure of this liquid is less, its boiling point will be high. Therefore, if the boiling point of this liquid is T0 and the boiling point of this solution is T1, automatically T1 is greater than T0. This is called as elevation of boiling point. So that means boiling point of pure solvent and boiling point of a solution containing non-volatile solute are compared. Automatically, the boiling point of a solution containing non-volatile solute always more than pure solvent. So this is called as elevation of boiling point. So the difference between the boiling points T1 minus T0 is called as elevation of boiling point. So this is indicated by delta T. Now consider three solutions. Simply three liquids. First one is pure solvent. For example, water is considered. Pure solvent is considered. Second one is solution containing non-volatile solute. And third one is also solution containing non-volatile solute. This is also solution containing non-volatile solute. But here non-volatile solute quantity is more when compared with this case. Here non-volatile solute content is more when compared with this case. That means simply C2 is greater than C1. Concentration of this liquid is more when compared with this. Solute is present in excess in this case when compared with this case. Such three liquids are considered: pure solvent, solution containing non-volatile solute, and solution containing excess non-volatile solute are considered. So their vapor pressure and temperature curves are represented like this. Vapor pressure and temperature curves. So therefore, at temperature T0, this is called as boiling point of solvent. At temperature T0, vapor pressure of this pure solvent becomes equal to atmospheric pressure, and the pressure is equal to atmospheric pressure at this point. This is the boiling point of pure solvent. Okay, we are already discussed that solution boiling point is more than solvent boiling point. Therefore, solution 1 boiling point is T1. At T1 temperature only, the boiling point of the temperature of this solution at which the pressure exhibited by this liquid becomes equal to atmospheric pressure. And this is the boiling temperature corresponding to solution 2. At this temperature only, the vapor pressure exhibited by this liquid becomes equal to atmospheric pressure. So therefore, T0 is less than, T1 is less than T2. According to our discussion, boiling point of solvent is less, solution is more, excess solvent containing solution is further higher. So this is the graphical representation. Okay. So these are the points at which the vapor pressure of these liquids becomes equal to atmospheric pressure. Okay. Next, at temperature T0, this is the vapor pressure of pure solvent. Then what will be the vapor pressure of solution 1? This will be the vapor pressure of solution 1. At temperature T0, this will be the vapor pressure of solution 2. So, when temperature T0 is considered, that will be the boiling point of solvent, and at that particular temperature, solution 1 and solution 2 exhibits lower vapor pressures when compared with pure solvent. So this is the graphical representation. So these are the points what I indicated here. Okay, these are the boiling temperatures, and these points corresponding to vapor pressures of pure solvent, solution 1, solution 2 at temperature T0. I indicated these points are as A, B, C and A, D, E. Okay. So from this graph, see here, both ABC and ADE are similar triangles. Hence, AB by AD is equal to AC by AE. AC by AE. So what is AB there P naught minus P1 substituted there. AD P naught minus P2 substituted there. AC this is higher T1 minus T naught. Okay, and next what is AE T2 minus T naught substituted there. Therefore, P naught minus P1 is delta P1, P naught minus P2 is delta P2, T1 minus T naught is delta T1, T2 minus T naught is delta T2. So, from that relation, it is clear that delta P is directly proportional to delta T. This is equation number 1. We are already discussed about Raoult's law. According to Raoult's law, P naught minus P by P naught is equal to X solute. That means delta P by P naught is equal to X solute. So when this is cross multiplied, delta P is proportional to X solute. Combine the two relations. From these two relations, delta P proportional to delta T and delta P proportional to X solute. Therefore, we can write delta T is proportional to X solute. Now, delta T is equal to some constant K into X solute. According to thermodynamics, the value K is equal to RT naught square by delta HV. So this is called as enthalpy of vaporization. Enthalpy of vaporization. Amount of heat energy required to convert 1 mole of solvent from liquid phase to gaseous phase is called as enthalpy of vaporization. Amount of heat energy required to convert 1 mole. 1 mole means molar mass of solvent is generally expressed in capital W. So therefore, amount of heat energy required to convert capital W grams of pure solvent from liquid phase to gaseous phase is called as enthalpy of vaporization. Okay. So now define latent heat of vaporization LV. Latent heat of vaporization. Amount of heat energy required to convert 1 gram of solvent from liquid phase to vapor phase is called as latent heat of vaporization. So this is defined for 1 mole, that is capital W grams. This is defined for 1 gram. That means for capital W grams, what is the heat energy required? Delta HV. For 1 grams, what is the heat energy required? That is called latent heat of vaporization, which is equal to delta HV by W. Delta HV by W. From this, delta HV is equal to LV into W. Delta HV is equal to LV into W. So therefore, delta T is equal to K means RT naught square by delta HV, but delta HV is equal to LV into W into X solute. X solute means mole fraction. In the case of dilute solutions, number of moles of solute in the denominator is neglected. So therefore, mole fraction of solute can be simply represented as A by M into W by V. This W gets cancelled. I multiplied this equation with 1000 and divide with 1000. So, A by M into 1000 by V. A by M into 1000 by V is the molality of the solution. So therefore, remaining terms are represented as delta T is equal to RT naught square by LV into this 1000 into the remaining term is called molality. So therefore, this constant term RT naught square by LV into 1000 is equal to kV. This is called kV, represented by a constant kV. So therefore, the final relation is equal to delta TB is equal to kV into M. Therefore, kV is called as molar elevation constant. Molar elevation constant. Or this is also called as ebullioscopic constant. Ebullioscopic constant. Ebullioscopic means high temperature constant. So this is elevation of boiling point. Temperature increases. Therefore, this is called as ebullioscopic constant. Kb is called as molar elevation constant. Why this is called molar elevation constant? When molality of the solution becomes equal to 1, then Kb is equal to delta Tb. When molality is equal to 1, then Kb is equal to delta Tb. So therefore, Kb is equal to elevation of boiling point when molality of the solution is equal to 1. Hence this is called as molal elevation constant and this is corresponding to high temperature procedure. Hence this is also called as ebullioscopic constant. So this is what about the second qualitative property, that is called as elevation of boiling point. You have to remember the important relations. Delta Tb is equal to Kb into m, and also remember the formula Kb is equal to RT naught square by LV into 1000. Kb is equal to RT naught square by LV into 1000. So these are the important relations, and also LV is equal to delta H by W. 3 points. Simply delta Tb is equal to Kb into m, first one. Second one, delta Tb is equal to RT naught square by LV into 1000. That is the second thing. And third one is equal to LV is equal to delta HV by W. So these are the three important formulas for making calculations.